Philadelphia freedom. That's all Ben Simmons wants to say because he is to get out of here. Ladies, gentlemen, what is going on? You know what it is. No introductions needed. We are Drunk on Broad. Nick the Daddy, Don Juan, a.k.a. Teacher of the Year, a.k.a. Don Conaway, and yourself.
What?
Yeah, yourself. Myself. Rich.
Yourself.
Yourself. Rich here. Bringing you the best stuff that we know how to bring you. Lots of fun and our take on everything Philly sports. But first, we got to take care of some housekeeping before I say hello to you guys. We are now sponsored by La Terrain Watches. Visit them at the listing down there at the website, https://laterrain.com. Use the promo code DOB at checkout. Help us out. Buy us some shots, a.k.a. buy us a soundboard so we could be legit like everybody else with soundboards. They're super expensive. So that would be nice. So check them out. They actually have great watches. I was just on their website.
Really nice stuff.
Really nice, high-quality watches for cheap. So I will bring it. I will actually share it, and I'll show you guys some of the watches because I honestly really do like these watches. I wouldn't have a sponsor us if I didn't endorse their stuff. But if you can see, look at these beautiful watches. Like
They're really. I mean, they're
$89 for the Red Crest. Like that is nice. $129 for the Apple.
And they're really clean. They're really nice. It's not like
dude, the legacy.
Funky. It's great.
The legacy is sharp, dude. The legacy is super sharp. I really, really like these watches. So if you're in the market for a watch, please go to La Terrain, promo code DOB. Help your boys out, and let's help out a small business because we're all about helping each other, and that's what we do. So welcome, my friends, to Drunk on Broad. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope everybody had a good day. It was roster cut day, Nick, Don. Oh, man, it's a heartbreaking day for NFL athletes, for those whose dreams can come to an end, but then they can get a rebirth on another team. So let's talk about the Eagles cuts. Nick, I want to go to you first. Who was the most surprising person that you saw get cut today?
Probably, I don't think it's more of a surprise of who got cut. I think it's just more of a surprise of who they kept, right? So I don't think that it's a surprise that Fulgham got cut. I don't think it's a surprise that Tower got cut. But you're going to keep Arcega-Whiteside over both of those guys.
That's hot garbage.
Garbage. And then, Howie said that it was about special teams and that played a factor. And I'm trying to think in my head. I don't remember him ever flashing to me on special teams. I don't remember ever seeing his name, seeing his number.
I didn't even know he was on special teams, to be honest with you. I really didn't.
He might have to be. I mean, if he wants to play, that's it. This really just tells me he was a second-round pick, and Howie doesn't want to eat his shorts on this, which he already has. Yeah. So especially when the guy that they took him over is an All-Pro. So I mean,
you took the words right out of my mouth. Like that is like that cut and keep. To me, screams like we don't want to look bad with our draft pick.
Should be about helping your team, though.
And listen, at the end of the day, I think the upside on Fulgham is so much higher than the upside on Whiteside. He's shown you enough that he doesn't belong on an NFL roster. Where Fulgham has at least shown glimpses that he can be. I mean, for that 4-week stretch, he was one of the top. I mean, he was in the top 5 receiving when you talk about statistically in that small sample size.
Analytically, yes, he was.
I don't get it. I don't get the obsession, and I know Sirianni is a wide receiver guy. I know he maybe sees that there is, I don't know what he sees, but I Nick, you're right. I don't see the special teams. I don't see what they're seeing.
So apparently what I've heard and what I've read is Fulgham doesn't give 100% in practice, and that becomes a problem when you want a guy to be accustomed to the offense and you want a guy, especially under a new coaching staff. There's reasons why players bounce from team to team. And I think that's what you're seeing from Fulgham. I don't think it's the talent's not there. Maybe it's the effort. Maybe it's the fact that when you want 100% out of a guy, you're not getting it from him. And you're seeing more in practice from a J.J. Arcega Whiteside. Not saying he's a player, not at all. But my whole thing is, if you're not going to give it 100%, why should you be on a team and then
that's on him then?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to say that's on him. I look at it as you're keeping JJ, yes, because Howie doesn't want to eat crow, but there has to be more there. There can't be just, okay, Fulgham is just not better than these guys, because we know he is. We saw that last year. But look what happened when Alshon came back. They pushed him immediately out of the rotation, and you never heard of him again. Is that because Alshon was getting paid and better than him? No, but maybe since there was competition, you see him practice, okay, this guy's not doing it for me. So I don't have to force him out there now that I got my guy back. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of, why did he get cut? Because the talent is there, but there has to be other issues, that he's either not giving 100%, that he's not being a good teammate, that he strictly doesn't practice. There has to be another reason. You can't just cut this guy saying that he's not talented, because we know he is. But it's one of the situations where now we cut him and we cut whatchamacall, a few.
Hightower.
Yeah, Hightower. We can go grab a guy that was been cut. And a lot of people were saying AGG from Washington.
From Washington.
Washington also cut Steve Sims Jr., which I was actually surprised that they did, because that guy's a speedster. That guy can fly. These are two guys coming out of the draft last year who get drafted. And I thought, okay, might be good, but now they're getting cut. So it's so weird how the NFL works, right? We can all agree guys get cut left and right, but some guys are just travel a lot, and I think that's what T-Fold is. I just don't think there's a place for him on this team, and maybe there is on the practice squad, but I don't know. But let's talk about Matt Pryor being gone. Thank the fucking Lord. I am over the hill ecstatic that bum is not here anymore.
I mean, listen, when you think about it, they essentially swapped Pryor for Minshew, right? They gave up a 6th round. They gave up that pick, that conditional pick in the Minshew trade. They got it back in the Pryor trade.
Yep.
So you essentially swapped a lineman that you weren't going to use in your regular rotation.
Yeah. For
an upgrade at an insurance policy at quarterback, and a guy who's cheap, a guy who's going to be under contract for the next 3 seasons.
Yep.
A guy who honestly, moving forward, is probably going to be the backup quarterback at some point.
Yeah.
He's the insurance policy, the guy that you know is going to be able to produce if you need him to. To me, I saw that move and I was like, that's super smart. But let's not get things twisted. He is not coming in here to compete for the number 1 job.
No.
He's here to be the guy that fills in if there is a need to fill in.
I think that's the problem when people are failing to see. It's like, oh, they traded for Minshew. Oh, he's going to compete for a start. No, he's not. We all knew Hurts was going to be the starter from day one. But if Hurts doesn't perform and you get down a few weeks and you need a guy to come in who's got a big arm, which he does. He has a big arm. He has wide receivers in front of him. He had a decent team, and not a decent team. Their offensive line was terrible in Jacksonville.
But he's got some wiggle too. You know what I mean?
He does. He can run the offense similar to Hurts. He's not afraid to run. The dude is a gamer. I am not saying that him and Jalen Hurts are comparable, but I mean, there's a fine line there where if Hurts might have a shorter leash than what we think, especially with all the Watson rumors floating around there. Even though they said it was squashed, I read an article today that said, oh, no, he would waive it. So you never know what's waiting in the wings. But for right now, it puts it to bed, and I'm happy with that. Because I want to see what Jalen Hurts can do in his second year with a full preseason under his belt and working with the first team exclusively.
I mean, you're right. The whole idea of, I think the one model that works is being able to get a successful young quarterback and get the team competitive while they're still on that rookie deal, while they're still cheap. I think that's what all of these moves scream in that direction, where you say, how do we build around a young quarterback while he's still cheap, while he's still on that rookie deal?
Yep.
And I think Minshew kind of fits in that mold where you got a guy on your roster who is making, and correct me if I'm wrong, but less than $1 million or right around $1 million. Like to me, it's a no. There's no lose in that scenario.
So
I'm looking. Hold on.
Go ahead,
I'm looking at a lot of these cuts, like the league cuts. Man, there's some pretty good. Like, remember I told you before that the Eagles were the main thing they were saying was they wanted to add like a veteran presence receiver. Now I like AGG from the Redskins, but there's a couple there's a couple rookies that got cut, like that the kid Cornell Powell, the Chiefs drafted this year. They cut him.
And he was a second-round draft pick, wasn't he?
Maybe third or fourth, but he's from
Clemson.
He's a Clemson. He's a Clemson guy.
Yeah.
The Raiders cut John Brown. Just signed him. They cut him today.
I would take John Brown in a
That's what I'm
heartbeat.
saying. That's a player that you put on the Eagles. He's been around. He's a veteran. He catches the ball. He can run different route tree.
This fucking guy.
This guy.
Yo, don't talk about Ben Simmons, bro. I got this.
What about Rich's boy Calvin Ridley's brother got cut too.
Calvin Ridley has a brother?
Riley Ridley, yeah, played in Alabama. He's on the Bears. He got cut. Receiver.
Dude, that's nuts. But
what about Rashad Perriman, dude? You want him?
No, I'd rather take John Brown. I'll take a guy who will play 12 games and who can stretch the field. Like I
John
think
Brown, AGG, any of those guys would be guys that I would.
I don't even see AGG coming onto this team and start. I don't see that at all. I'm not projecting we go get AGG.
No, but is he better? Is he better than you have to run a 5 receiver set? Is he better than J Jaw? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And he's actually a guy that you're like, okay, he can run. You've seen him in college. He's a guy that we talked about, Rich. Like he was good. He flashed. Yeah. So
and Brown was good last year and the year before, but he goes to a Raiders team who's controlled by a megalomaniac who has a bunch of young guys there. Like John Gruden, like let's be real, is not a smart man. As much as we want to say he's a good coach, he truly isn't. So,
they also have a lot of receivers that are.
They have a lot of. That's what I'm saying. They have a lot of young talent. So
a lot of receivers that are similar size and everything.
Jesus, taking J Jaw to score a touchdown every game, like 25 to the 3 ball. Let that sink in.
But that's what happened. He saw his tape and he said, "This guy is Alshon Jr." Right?
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell tape he was watching.
I don't know if there's 50-50 balls at Southern Cal against no wide receivers. It makes me laugh. But Adam says, what about them getting rid of Jordan Howard and Kerryon? Kerryon's always hurt.
I think he was injured too. I think that's part of it.
And Jordan Howard doesn't have a role on this team because they saw how great Kenneth Gainwell played. Kenneth Gainwell is the truth. They're carrying 3 running backs for a reason. Boston Scott, you are our kick returner and our punt returner. You are our special teamer. Kenneth Gainwell is going to be our 3rd down back because that guy is a fucking monster.
Just play Boston Scott against any New York team and he just eats.
Give him his 2 games. Give him his 2 games.
Just eats.
Seriously.
No, but when I see Gainwell, Rich, I see him in the role of like a James White, Gio Bernard, just in that role.
More talent.
He can run. Yeah, exactly. He can run the ball. He can run the ball, but also when you get him in space, he's great. Now we talked about it, Rich, before. You're a good running back when 3 of those running backs on that roster were all NFL running backs, and you were the starter because Antonio Gibson and Tony Pollard couldn't beat you out to be a starter. Both of those guys are really good.
And we got him in the 5th round.
Like I could envision situations where like they're hitting him on swing passes in the flat.
In a wheel route?
Wheel route, get him in space, get him matched up on a linebacker, get him matched up on a safety. He's gonna eat in those spots where those other guys aren't. He proved that to me in those situations where you could see his tape and say, in those scenarios he's going to produce. Mm-hmm. So to me, that was a no-brainer scenario. And listen, Jordan Howard, like you picked him up off the scrap heap. It's kind of like a no.
He's
lose.
Okay, but he's not good.
Right. He was never going to move the needle. And listen,
who's he going to beat out for a job? No one. He's not beating guys out.
And what have we been saying about this team the whole time? Right? This team is all about finding out what young talent you can have to build around moving forward. There's no value in keeping. And listen, I know Jordan Howard is. I almost said Ryan Howard, but Jordan Howard. He's never be Ryan Howard. He's still in his mid-20s, but 26. But what value? Like what value are you're not building around him moving forward? So what are you really finding out about?
Nothing.
I'd rather have a guy like Gainwell in that spot where you at least can start to build those building blocks around Hurts to be able to start to see what you have in Hurts. Because if you don't build around him, you're never going to find out what you have in that spot to know whether or not next year you're going to have. And listen, I'm just going to say this, that they have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. Yeah. Whether that's 3 1s and a 2 or 2 1s and 2 2s, whatever it is. If you need to draft the quarterback, you need to find that out this year.
Yeah.
So this year is all about finding out what Hurts is to be able to move the needle ahead to say, we're either going to build around him or thanks, but no thanks. We're going to draft the kid from Clemson or Spencer Rattler or whoever.
I don't like any of these quarterbacks.
No, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're either going to find out what you have or you're going to draft a guy or you're going to use that draft capital to get a veteran that's already in the league. I don't know.
You're not spending those 3 you're not spending those 3 high picks or 3 first-round draft picks on Deshaun Watson. Right there, you're not going to do it. You can't do it because you have more holes to fill than that. So what you need to do is with those 3 first-round picks or the 2 2s and the 2 1s, you build this team. You keep building the team. You see the needs, you address them, and you build it. You get a quarterback the following year because you still might not be good next year. There's no guarantee that you're going to be good next year. There's no guarantee that you're going to be good in this year. So if you have a top 5 pick and there's, say, a fantastic edge rusher or a fantastic linebacker, which they're all going to be there, like Nick said.
It's going to be some talent.
There's Stingley, the corner, disgusting from LSU.
These are the guys you build your team.
Gross.
Just saying, we have the assets. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Do not trade them for a quarterback. We don't need it. Anything else we want to discuss about the Eagles cuts? We are 1 week away from the season opener. I can't wait. It is going to be awesome. I'm sorry, we're like 9 days away from the NFL season, but I'm super excited. I can't wait. Football is back.
It's back.
It's a great time.
Well,
any honorable mentions for Eagles cuts, Don?
No. The only other notable one that I saw today was like the Packers moving on from Jordan Love.
They cut Jordan Love?
They moved. I thought I saw that they moved on from Jordan Love.
Hold on, let me check, man.
I can't wait. Please tell me. Please tell me they cut Jordan Love. Please tell me they cut Jordan Love so I can destroy Brian. Please.
I'm pretty sure that was.
Let's see. Nice. No, they didn't cut him.
No, I thought I saw something.
Scoring driver shows progress. They didn't show him. Okay. Oh, I was going to see, man.
Maybe I saw something.
I don't think they could. I mean, you can't do that. He was a first-round pick last year. You know what I mean?
That would be hilarious.
That's why I thought I saw something that was like.
No, but I just looked. So the Patriots cut Newton and Rich's boy Brian Hoyer. They literally only have Mac Jones as their only quarterback on the roster right now.
Brian Hoyer? I hate Brian Hoyer. He is so trash. So trash.
Listen, he's been getting paid for a long time.
Oh my God. Malcolm Butler, I guess, got put on the reserve retired list for Arizona.
He said that
they stink.
He said that he wanted to he was thinking about retiring for personal reasons.
No chance to what, Justin? What do you got? No chance to what? I want to ask what Fligno has to say. I want to know what he's talking about.
Well, about Jordan Love, probably.
Oh, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
I don't know what I saw. I thought I saw something.
I would just rubbed it in Brian's face because he was saying he was the best quarterback in last year's draft. I said better than Herbert. Okay, maybe. All right, that's a fair step. Love, yeah. All right, thank you.
Not if they lose Devontae next year and Rodgers.
I know they're going to be pretty ass, but they'll have Randall Cobb. All right,
Rich Foligno told me today that he had a draft and he took Barkley over your boy Eckler, man.
I know. I told him I didn't like that, and he said I didn't like it either. I'm like,
you love Rich is an Austin Eckler stan. I'm gonna get him an Austin Eckler jersey.
I would love an Austin Eckler jersey. I am a big fan.
Do you see that thing?
Bobby Hoying?
Bobby Hoying or Chase Daniels?
Chase Daniels still getting paid in the league, so he's obviously better.
You better not speak ill of Bobby Hoying, Adam. You hear me?
Nick, did you see that? I know you drafted Eckler in our league. Did you see that thing that he put out about if you draft him, you start him, you win, something like that.
He loves the baseball
where
guys. He said it like last year when he was hurt. He was like really upset about people that drafted him. That he felt like he let people down.
He's gonna auction off like signed jerseys for anybody who submits. Like they win.
He was on the fantasy.
Keep that on your radar.
He was on the Fantasy Footballers podcast last week, and he was hilarious. Dude, he laughs like this. It's such a goofy laugh coming from like
that's great.
A dude with small. I mean, he'll kill me, but
he's a freak athlete though.
Justin is not happy about his draft. It's okay, Justin. It's better than Pat's 18 draft.
That's actually true.
Shots fired at Pat. Some guy drafted Dobbins in the 3rd, and then Cam Akers in like the 4th, and Pat still like ended up with some wonky wide receivers. But I love him anyway. Anyway, we're transitioning. This jerk off. Ben Simmons wants out again. It's never ending with this dude because he's never going to be happy. Here's the only thing I'm going to say because I don't want Big T Will to get upset. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care what he thinks. My problem with Ben Simmons, we didn't do anything to him for him to demand on leaving and being out. This is self-inflicted wounds. He shot himself in the foot. He decided to pass up the layup, and he decided to not work on his jump shot. He decided to not shoot three-pointers. He decided everything. The ball was literally in his court. Literally. He made his bed, let it rest. But you are not going to get traded because you say, I'm not going to show up. You are worthless right now. What we can get for you now is not enough to trade you. Suck it up, Buttercup, and sit home. That's all I got to say, because you're not going anywhere just because you want to. You're not taking your ball and going home on this one, bud. You're going to sit your ass on the bench, and maybe if you sit out this year, next year you'll have some value. If not, oh well.
Like in my mind, what the hell has he done to be able to earn the right to say, I want to go where X, I want to go to LA, I want to go to the West Coast? Like you like the predictable pattern of behavior from him is like play well in the first half, get on the All-Star team, fade away at the end of the season,
lose in the second round,
be non-existent in the playoffs, lose in the second round, put out a video. If there was a way for me to be able to mute the Ben Simmons videos, like it drives me insane, and I can't figure out for the life of me what the hell do you think? Like, you had people legit in that playoff series showing you, like I'll never forget the one guy, the little African-American guy, showing him how to like shoot the foul shots. Like this
fan. Yeah, the fan.
This city did nothing but encourage him and cheer for him and put him on a pedestal that honestly that we're seeing that he really didn't need to be on, because he did nothing to earn that. And this city wanted that championship so bad, so hard that I can't stand to see him say that and say, like, in my mind, I'm looking at him, I'm like, look in the mirror, dude. What do you have to do to realize that, like, and for me, like, I realized something when
Don's wearing his 76er zip up.
Listen, I'm wearing it because I like this team. And to me, in my mind, he no longer represents this team. He doesn't represent Allen Iverson and Julius Erving and Charles Barkley and Mo Cheeks and Daryl Dawkins and Moses Malone
and Tony.
Like, he doesn't represent that anymore. And in my mind, like, never did I ever fight, like, a couple of years ago when I made the investment, literally in the same purchase of buying a Ben Simmons jersey and a Carson Wentz jersey, did I ever think in the next 10 years that would be the worst investment it would be the worst. Don't tell my wife. The worst $150 I ever spent.
I'll give you $5 for it.
I just like, and it took for me when I was listening to Big T Will on one of the latest episodes and realizing that like, yeah, he wants the limelight. He wants the LA. He wants to be sitting poolside.
Hollywood.
He wants Hollywood. He wants all that. He doesn't want to get better.
He doesn't want to be held accountable.
Go ahead, Nick.
I mean, you just summed it up to what he wants, because he wants to date his models and Instagram girls that flash their titties on camera and stuff. That's what he wants. He doesn't want – we already paid him. He made a couple All-Star games, made all defense. He's going to say, I'm a really good player. The city never – listen, just like you said, when he was shooting the ball, we were clamoring for him to shoot the ball. We were like, listen, just shoot, man. Like, everything else you're doing so good. Like, we love you. Just shoot the ball. So now for him to say that he wants out, and there's like, it's rooted in like he can't handle the fans or the media. One, that's soft. And two, you have literally the perfect person that is the cornerstone of your team to look at and just watch how he handles the media. Because Joel does it perfectly. He loves it. He goes out. He sees people in the streets. Like, Ben doesn't do that. Ben is exactly. He drives his Lamborghini away to his nice house, and he flies to LA, and he flies to England, and he does all his dumb shit. On. He posts a video every once in a while of him hitting the jump shot with nobody on him. Yep. Just after he probably missed 5 before that, but they show the one good clip where he looks really good.
That's why.
I get the thing that Justin's saying where they're going to try and get rid of him because he's going to force it because his agent, Rich Paul, you little midget, you're a bitch too. I'm saying that right to your face. You are a bitch. Because your mentality is soft. Yep. That I want to get my guys out of a city. That's real good. So you're going to get your guys out of a major market that has one of the best basketball franchises ever with a rich history of Hall of Fame great players.
Who would be better if your client stepped up and actually did what he was supposed to do.
That supports their players. And then there's a guy who admitted that he loves playing here already and he's going to grow into a star. You want to get him out of Philly and Tyrese Maxey just because you don't want your clients playing in Philly? So, Rich Paul, what happened to Nerlens Noel got an offer to be the backup here. We gave him more money than Andre Drummond. We were going to sign him, but you blocked that offer and didn't tell your client, Nerlens Noel, that you had an offer from the Sixers because you didn't want him to sign here. And now you're getting sued by your own client because you're an asshole.
What goes around, comes
around. You're really good. You're a really good agent. So if I'm Tyrese Maxey, I see all this going on and I go, he wants me out. But I never said that. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fire your agent, bro. We love you, Tyrese. Fire your fucking agent.
I just saw something today where they were telling about he had community service events that he was scheduled to participate in. Yeah, and they told him to cancel it. Like,
who are you? Just to tell people to cancel?
Trade him to Oklahoma City. Play for. Trade him somewhere where he can't make any money. Trade him to Oklahoma City. Bye.
And Nick, I'm with you. Like, trade him to basketball Siberia. Like, trade him to Minnesota. Trade him to Memphis. Trade him to, like, wherever he can go and just fucking rot.
Trade him to Vancouver, and they don't even have a team anymore.
I'll take Mike Bibby back in return right now. At least he'll shoot.
I'll take Peja Stojakovic from Sacramento if we can get him. Is he still under contract? Is he still there? I also don't agree with this, Justin. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't. Wasting Joel's prime. It's they have years left. I don't think it would be irresponsible to your fan base and irresponsible to yourselves if
the investments you made with the rest of the team.
Yeah. You can't do that. And I mean, I think they're going to have to eat some salary anyway if they want to trade him because teams aren't going to want to pay him $30 million a year.
I'm not even worried about that.
Which I'm fine with, but that's what I'm saying. I don't give a shit. Let him sit. Like, you want to be a prima donna. You want to do that. You want to force your way. Well, guess what? You find a trade partner and you find something that's actually worth a damn. You're not going to find it right now, Ben. So you're not going to screw over your old team because you want to be a fucking prima donna.
If you want to be like this, Rich, in my mind, if I'm Doc Rivers, I don't know how he would think, but if I'm Daryl Morey and Elton Brand, I come to Doc Rivers and I say, listen, we're not going to trade him for pennies on the dollar. So until we get an offer we want, we're going to keep him on the roster. This is what I want you to do. No, I want you to play him. First time he has an open shot and doesn't take it, you sit him. Sit him the rest of the game.
Tank his value.
Sit him the rest of the game. Or he makes a bad mistake, makes a turnover, sit him right away. Don't even let him play. Don't let him fix his mistakes. I'll rather give Maxey the minutes. Give the young kids the minutes. Give the minutes to a kid like Isaiah Joe or Paul Reed. I don't care.
Paul Reed. Be ball Paul, baby. Give it to him.
They want to play, right? They want to play. Our agents aren't coming to you saying we want out. So, Rich Paul, you want to play this game? I'll play this game better than you. I'm going to tank your client's value, and then I'll trade him to Oklahoma City. I don't even care. The kid that I want to get back to Oklahoma City is in 8th grade right now, but I'll get him in a couple years.
Yeah.
Because we got all those picks. I'll keep Tyrese Maxey, and then that's it. I'm not worried about it.
Nick, the guy that you're trying to trade for, I think he plays for Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was nuts. We'll talk about that after this topic.
Talk about that in a second.
Oh my God, fight-ins or frauds? What do we think?
There's one fighting and the rest are frauds.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
I mean,
Marshawn just hit a home run, 5-5.
They're still frauds. You should be murdering these teams.
Dude, I know. But I do like Grant Riller. Yeah, they just signed him. Phillies just tied it up. Yes, I just saw that. If I have to say fight-ins or frauds, I'm still going frauds. You started Matt Moore today in the hunt for a playoff spot against a terrible Nationals team. We talked about this before the show. How can you tell me that you're trying to contend? Like, what is the point of starting him? I don't understand it. It's kind of stupid. Let's be real. Kutch has been awful. Alec Boehm got optioned to AAA because he stinks. Reese Hoskins is gone. Gene is hitting. Didi's finally coming around. Herrera, and then Bryce is holding it down because he's a fucking superstar. I ate crow on that, and I was wrong. And JT's hurt. So, you tell me that this team is going to compete in the playoffs if they get there, and I will call you a liar. They are the frauds. I am not hopping on board. I am not getting excited. I want no parts of this because I don't want to keep being let down by one of my favorite sports organizations. Nick, what do you got? Then we'll go to Don.
I agree. I mean, Bryce is basically trying to put this team on his back. He's doing, everything he can. It's just really a shame that down the stretch you had that winning streak. You get cold, the Braves get hot. Now you're in second place. You have no chance. You need a God-given miracle to make the wild card spot because you're buying 3 teams there. So, and then Reese gets hurt. Wheeler hasn't been that good lately. He hasn't been as good as he was earlier. So Wheeler isn't as good as he's been. It really is. You have 2 MLB players right now on your roster that deservedly are MLB players, and that's Segura and Bryce. McCutchen hit home run today, but he's old now. I mean, he's good as a role player, but we have him starting every day.
Yeah,
we can't be doing that. We have 1 major league player. I'm looking at the roster today. You start Torres. He shouldn't start, but at least he can play defense.
Yeah,
right.
And then you have Freddie Galvis, the only other person that can play defense on this team. It's one of the worst defensive teams I've ever seen in my life.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
You're kind of patchworking it. Like they have Veerling's playing today. Like they have to bring guys up because Boehm has been like it's not even just like if he was hitting 230, but he's got a 995 fielding percentage. All right, cool. Like you're playing third base, you're picking it. But I'm watching this year going. I'm like, man, we would be much. How many games would we have won if we just had Maikel Franco at third base? You know what I mean?
Quick to run him out of town.
And he wasn't the best hitter. He, obviously he's a 220 hitter.
He ran into 30 home runs though.
At third base, he's a lot. The teams that won for us, that stretch. Who was our third baseman? It was always a guy that could pick it. Pedro Feliz would play third base. He would pick it. Placido Polanco played third base. He would pick it. You know what I mean? The year we always had good defense at third baseman. It was, David Bell, Scott Rowland, all these guys could pick it. And then we draft Alec Boehm with the hopes that he can play third. He obviously can't. And then you're like, okay, well, can he play first? I'm like, yeah, but he hasn't shown me that he can play first either. And then we have Reese, who, when he was healthy this year, was our second best player, but he can't play first either.
No.
Right.
And it's like, well, where are you going to boom? You can put him in left field. No, because he can't. If you can't play first, you can't play left field.
I mean, his best shot at being successful might be in the outfield, but like
He tried that though, and it didn't work. Right? He came up as a left fielder.
Right, but they tried at that, and that already didn't work. So like, he to me seems lost. Like, you can't play him at third, can't play him at first. You can't play him in the outfield.
You need the universal DH to come back.
Universal DH.
But like, this team has like a bunch of dudes that could be the DH. Like, you're only going to have one DH. Like, you can't have
Kutch.
Bohm and Kutch and JT and like
Kutch going after this year. Do we have to pay him another year after this?
There's an option.
I think there's an
option that they're not going to pick up.
The team option, right?
They would if Klentak was still here, but luckily he's not.
It's for him. It's just like it's.
I'm gonna check on spot.
I mean, it's something that we've covered like a million times, but like the teams overvaluing and underdeveloping talent and not being able to get guys in their farm system that are going to produce. Like, that is such a broken record at this point that it's not even worth spending time on.
It's the definition of insanity. We're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. We keep talking about the same thing, expecting different results. We get a 5 to 7 game winning streak, and then we fall back on the horse, and then we die on that sword. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah,
like,
so
I just don't understand the love and infatuation with this team and why people want them to make the playoffs just to be let down, just to see us get our dicks kicked in. I don't see like the defending of the moves and defending of Girardi. I get it. Defend Bryce. I mean, we got to get to the front lines and defend him because I was an asshole who was picking him apart.
Rich,
but why defend this trash team? They're terrible.
Because people are desperate, Rich. Like,
Find
this
something
town.
else.
But listen, this people that are diehard sports fans in this town are so desperate for this team that hasn't made the playoffs in a decade to be relevant.
But you can be a diehard, but you also have to be realistic. And that's the problem. You can't distort reality and live in the multiverse of where the Phillies are the 100-0 right now, because it's not going to happen. Like, this is Earth. This is this realm. The Phillies suck in this universe.
But
so
people
bring it back and stop defending a team that's terrible.
People get stuck between like being fanboy and drinking the Kool-Aid and wanting them to do well, just for that. Like, I'm so desperate for that Red October, seeing the bunting all around the stadium, seeing the rally towels. Like, they're so desperate for that they're literally willing to do anything to be able to say, oh my God, they made the playoffs. But it's all on false hope, because then, Rich, what have you been saying this entire time about this season? Everything is about getting asses in seats and selling tickets, and that's all that would do. Even if they play in that 1 game playoff wild card, right? What do they get to say the next season? They get to raise the banner up on opening day, and they get to sell the playoff souvenir T-shirts and the hats that say, 2021 postseason. But this fan base is clinging on to anything because there's nothing in the future, right? There's nothing to look forward to. There's no future star to look forward to. So they're saying, well, like, this is the best shot we got because we got nothing coming up the pike. We got, like, are we hitching our wagons to Bryson Stott? Like, he's tearing the cover off the ball, but, like, is he the savior? No. Anybody?
I am not starved enough to be irrational. I'm not starved enough to be unrealistic. I am completely content with the 2017 Eagles Super Bowl. I could still live off that hype for right now. That to the point where I'm not going to be desperate and find excuses and find reasons to like this team. I'm not. But Nick, take us home so we can get to our final thoughts and our fun conversations.
I mean, what else is there to say about this team, man?
They stink. Moving on.
It's just frustrating because, like we said earlier, they're hot and cold, and they're They're like, oh yeah, they finally put the Mets to bed, and the Mets fell apart themselves. And it's like, okay, like I said, in a game that you need to win, you're going to start Matt Moore in a game that you need to win. Come on, man. Don't tell me you're trying to win while you're running out a guy with a 6.5 ERA. All right, he's shown all year he's not a major league pitcher. You couldn't find anybody better than
How's
Matt
Chase
Moore.
Anderson? Anybody check on him lately? Does he have a pulse?
There's not one of those guys, but like it's like
Oh, no, we signed him as our number 5.
there's not a guy in AAA, even AA right now that could come up and at least do better. Because my thinking would be, okay, let me bring this kid up. He might not have elite stuff, but these guys have never seen him before.
Bring up Medina. Fuck it. Throw him.
It's like,
Who cares?
Rich, you know what it is?
What
It's
do you
like,
got to lose?
I never seen him before. I don't know how his curveball breaks. I don't know what he likes to throw 0-1. I don't know what he likes to throw when it's 2-1. I don't know if he's going to come with the 3-2 curveball. I don't know. So like, you're just going to throw out Matt Moore, who has shown that he can't do it, right? He had what? How many good starts? I think he had the one really good start this year. That's it.
It was like 3 weeks ago. I don't want to be reminded of that. I got in an argument with the same podcast I always do over baseball, and it's just stupid. Don, what were you going to say so we can end this? You're good?
No, I'm good, man.
Please don't go to the playoffs, because then I have to see Joe Girardi be the coach again next year. I'm done with this.
The frauds be gone with you. Nobody cares.
Philadelphia frauds with a PH.
With a PH.
We're not talking about the Titans anymore.
No, because they gave up that fight. I just don't. Anything before we get to the final thoughts? Don, I know you wanted to talk about it, so I've been telling the story all day at when I was at clinical today. Everybody came in. I have a guy who used to play like a semi-pro football, and I was telling him about the Bishop Sycamore IMG game. So hilarious. It's an absolutely hilarious story.
This story blew my mind.
Biggest sports con ever.
So
it's on ESPN, bro.
I know.
Just to get a little backstory, so this school contacted ESPN, sent them all of this information, sent them credentials, sent them all this stuff. Obviously, someone at ESPN did not do their homework.
They did not Google Bishop Sycamore.
They did not Google Bishop Sycamore or any of the guys that they listed as 5-star or 4-star recruits or anybody. They ended up playing a game against IMG, which is
one of the powerhouses.
Oh, they put every player on that roster is going to go D1.
Right. They are essentially, I wouldn't even call them a high school. They are more of like a sports prep academy.
They're a junior college in itself.
School is a side piece to the athletic preparation. Trey Thomas is actually one of the coaches down there on their football team. So when it comes down to the actual broadcast, ESPN can't verify any of the players in any of their scouting databases. The head coach of Bishop Sycamore has an active warrant for his arrest. A lot of their players are guys that went JUCO and dropped out.
Yeah,
most of them are 19 and older. At least one of them used a fake name, lied about recruiting. They don't exist in any record of anything.
It's so hilarious.
But they got a game on ESPN.
And they got beat.
And they got.
How does that feel if you're like 20? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're older now, so it's like when you were 21, you're like, oh no, dude. Like back when I was in high school, these kids, like I would have been able to hang with them. And some of them played college, and then they're playing IMG. And they're just getting smoked by 15, 16, 17-year-old kids.
But the fact that they were able to pull that con off just blows my mind. That they were able to get to that, that piece where they are able to get onto national television. I just literally I saw it and I was like, I have absolutely no words for any of
Barstool's selling their shirts now. They say
Bishop Sycamore
with a football helmet.
I saw Cam Newton. They had him Bishop Sycamore signed 2 years.
But then I saw the good thing was since they were like, oh, since Bishop Sycamore's a fake school, can I buy this shirt with fake money? Pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
Thank you, Adam. Gentlemen,
literally, I don't
That's
even
it. I got
know
nothing
what
to say. That's it. We should just
It's
leave
just
it on
wild.
that. If you guys are interested, look it up. It's hilarious.
The funniest thing I saw was the picture. There was a picture of Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram, and it was like Derrick Henry was like 10 feet taller than Mark Ingram. Was like, oh, I'm an IMG 17-year-old, and then the little Mark Ingram guy was like, I'm a 22-year-old Bishop Sycamore senior. But it was just
pretty much what they are.
Seriously, it was
gentlemen.
insane.
It's been good. Again, we are sponsored by La Terrain Watches. Visit them at la-terrain.com. Use the promo code DOB. Buy yourself a nice watch. Help your boys get us a soundboard. That would be dope. And we could do a bunch of fun things. This is me begging for your money.
They're on Instagram too. Same name.
Yep.
Find them on Instagram. You can find them on Twitter at La Terrain. Beautiful watches. Always a good time. Don, Nick, Bishop Sycamore, we're coming for you guys next year. I play amazing blocking tight end. Nick's a D end, and Don is going to be quarterback. So if you guys need us against IMG Academy, I'll start working out, and maybe my quads will be loose by the time next October comes. Gentlemen, it's been fun. And our new sign out.
Fuck Rich Paul.
Anymore. It's fuck Rich Paul.
Fuck Rich Paul.
Rich Paul.
Fuck Ben Simmons. Fuck Rich Paul.
Ben Simmons. Fuck Rich Paul.
By the way, if you guys
Like
you know that
Paul.
Sixers fans go hard. I saw the stuff about Rich Paul. I went on his Instagram page because I don't follow him. I was like, oh, let me see. And his last post, you look at like all the comments that have come in today are all Sixers fans like, Bozo, you clown, you bitch. Just clowning them, bro. And they all got tons of likes. And I was like, I love it, bro. I hope he sees it. And he's like, this is why my guys need to get out of Philly.
Yeah.
No, you guys need to grow some balls.
As we say on this podcast, fuck Rich Paul.
Bunch of
Philly,
soy boys.
we love you.
Fuck Ben
We're
Simmons.
out. Get yourself a La Terrain watch. Be good. Peace.
Try to be
Peace
anyway.
out.
At least be good. Try.